Sponsored by Fisherman's Friend.
Hello and welcome to the World's Strongest Man Super Series, the qualifiers for World's Strongest Man, which will take place here in California later in the year. Now, this third round of qualifiers takes place in the slightly colder surroundings of the Norway hills for the Viking Power Challenge. That sounds just a little bit too cold for me. I'm going to pop in here and get myself a beer. Nick, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Martin. You enjoy that beer while we enjoy a crisp Norwegian day here in the mountains and lakes of Norway for the final qualifier of the World's Strongest Man Super Series 2007. There's a couple of guys that should be used to the cold by now.
So here we are in an old Viking hut in the middle of Norway, and we're here for the final World's Strongest Man Super Series of the year. And the pressure is on. Sven, everything's up for grabs.
4 places for World's Strongest Man, a place in Valhalla, and this helmet.
Sven's helmet. He's been up polishing it all night.
Well, it's certainly a top prize that someone's going to take away at the end of the last of our 3 World's Strongest Man qualifiers of the year. Let's take a look at what's happened so far. First up, we were in Connecticut for the Mohegan Sun Grand Prix, where the great one, Mariusz Pudzianowski, took first place. 21-year-old local hero Kevin Nee excited fans with a second-place finish. His best to date, Mark Felix from Blackburn, England, was third at the age of 41, and in fourth it was the debutant Jason Bergman. Then it was on to Los Angeles and Venice Beach, where Pudzianowski didn't win for the first time in 8 Super Series events. That honour went to Big Dave Ostlund from Minnesota. Mariusz came in second, and Jesse Marundi took third. Carl Gillingham, Dave Ostlund's training partner from the USA, took fourth. The location for this final Grand Prix is Storefell, exactly 1,000 metres high. There are lots of activities around this area where the event's taking place, and the strongmen have been taking advantage of them. Big Boris Haraldsson, Iceland's strongest man, is here. Rene Mink-Vitz, 7 times Denmark's strongest man. 57 years young, it's the great Odd Haugen from Norway. And playing against him is Carl Gillingham, who came 4th in Venice Beach. Jarne Virtanen, the world's strongest man from 2000, is here. And hey, there's nothing wrong with a man enjoying good skin. Just ask Colin Bryce.
10 years younger now.
Yeah,
Good for me.
Magnus Samuelsson enjoying the moment. The big Swede is here too. Speaking of big, Mark Felix from the UK, third at the Mohegan Sun, is here as well. He's in terrific form. And speaking of big, how about supersize? Terry Hollands, Britain's strongest man, is here as well. But don't give up the day job, Terry. Yeah! And the 2 jokers in the pack are here. The 2 Poles, Jarek Dymek, Europe's strongest man. And, of course, his sparring partner, 3-time world's strongest man, Mariusz Pudzianowski. Well, off those 2 clowns go, and it's time to introduce the 2 new Norwegians. Big Richard Skog, 6'5", 150 kilos. And his partner, a lot smaller, about 5'10" and just 125 kilos, Espen Auna. What a lineup, 12 great men. Let's get down to the arena and find out about our first event.
So here we are, and the atmosphere is great. We're going to do the super yoke first event. It's 380 kilos, and the athletes have to lift it up. That's the easy bit. They then have to run for 20 meters down the course. It's a head-to-head, and this will be tough.
Well, in his debut international, Richard Skog did a good job, 13.85 seconds. The Dane, Rene Mink-Vitz, 19.03. That's probably not going to be challenging the leaderboard. Dymek had a decent time, 12.06 for the Polish number 2, and Espen Auna, 12.88, just behind Dymek. So here comes Dartford's Terry Hollands. And he's up against Iceland's strongest man, Boris Haraldsson. Well, let's see who the yoke is on here. And I guess height definitely has an advantage, doesn't it? And he's a big fella, Terry.
Well, I think if power has the advantage, and Terry has it in abundance here. Look at this! He's sprinting!
Wow, he nearly cracked 10 seconds. 10.59, and he's walked away as if to say, is that it? Is that all you got? Boris is taking his time. A more leisurely effort from the Icelander, but he too crosses the line at 22.08 and won't be happy with that at all. So, slow from Boris. A super start from Terry.
Okay, so our lead time at the moment... Tell, that was an excellent time. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm reasonably happy. The first 5 metres I thought I was way too slow, and I actually think I aimed for about 9 seconds coming into it. That's what I was hoping for, and I honestly think I could make up more than a second on my first 5 metres. So I'm sort of happy that I'm in the lead at the moment, but I'm not that happy as in I think I could go quicker.
Well, let's keep the action rolling. And another couple of very good contenders. Magnus Samuelsson, the world's strongest man as long ago as 1998, and 2 years after that it was Janne Virtanen. So 2 guys with impeccable pedigrees going head-to-head in the yoke now. Virtanen's made the quicker start, but both of them looking good. And these should be some decent times. Virtanen starting to tie up just a touch, but Samuelsson can't make up the ground as Virtanen keeps it together for a good finish. And just behind him as well, Virtanen 15.34, just behind him, Samuelsson at around 16.5 seconds. We'll get the official adjudication. There it is, 16.53.
I think Virtanen was unhappy there. He was held under the bar, waiting too long to lift it. Not a bad time from either of these guys, but nowhere near our Terry.
Now Terry Hollands continues to set the benchmark, but let's see if another Brit can challenge that. Big Mark Felix, originally from Grenada, these days based in Blackburn. And don't let age fool you. Odd Haugen may be 57 years old, but if there's a fitter 57-year-old on the planet, bring him on.
Well, do you want to have a go, mate?
I'll have to give it a decade or so first. Hey, talking about age before beauty, here goes Odd. But here comes Mark. But he's never been called beautiful before. But this is a terrific time from Mark. Not quite Terry Hollands. Decent, 14.67, Odd 16.32.
And not a bad start there by Mark. These aren't his best events, the first 3. He's got to make the cut.
And we're up and running here in Norway. We'll continue the coverage after this short break.
Welcome back to Norway and the last of the World's Strongest Man Super Series qualifying events of 2007. Next up in the Super Yoke, it's Carl Gillingham and the Dominator, Mariusz Pudzianowski. Nick.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to this one. Both these fellas, of course, have qualified for the World's Strongest Man. But here comes Mariusz, flying, as you would expect. Can he crack 10 seconds? Is Terry Holland's time going to be broken? Yes, it is. Not broken, destroyed. 9.4. Pudzianowski was at a sprint. Everybody else was crawling. Gillingham at 14.6. That's not bad. But here's the cheerleader himself, Pudzianowski, his own #1 fan. So there we go. Mariusz Pudzianowski making this look ridiculously simple.
Mariusz, you're looking strong. Are you feeling strong?
I hope. Only now is only first events. To finish is 6 events, I don't know. Maybe.
Is that the fastest time ever? 9.4? That's unbelievable.
Oh, 9 seconds is, I think, is medium time. In Poland, I have 400 kilo. It's 9:20, 20 meters. Here, I think it's medium time, not best time.
Who would have thought Mariusz would be leading after the first event? Well, everyone probably. A good time from Hollands, though. He'll be hoping to keep hot on Mariusz's tail.
And on to event 2, and it's the tire flip, a real classic. But Sven, these are 500 kilos. That's not a classic weight, that's ridiculous.
You know, this is my competition, Colin, and this is the heaviest tire ever used in the competition, I think. And we're finally going to see who is the strongest tire flipper in the world.
Over 1,000 pounds for 6 flips. Let's see what happens.
Well, René Minkvits managed to do all 6 flips in 65.32 seconds. Boris Haraldsson, Iceland's strongest man, he could only manage 4 flips. Carl Gillingham went a little bit quicker than Minkvits. He did it in 61 seconds. But Richard Skog raced through in 48.56 seconds. Now Magnus Samuelsson out next, the big Swede. Someone thinks he's #1. The world's strongest man of 1998 and 10 world's strongest man finals, but what still really drives him on?
Right now I'm about to make my first big contest after the injury. I feel I still have a few, you know, marks from it, but I feel pretty good. I'm pretty strong in the gym, very strong in the gym, and I'm just looking forward to get started to compete again. And for myself, it's a bit of mixed emotions. Yeah, of course I want to go flat out. I always want to win when I compete, but maybe it could be wise to hold back just a touch this time, just to make sure that everything holds out, to get the rust out, and then in the next contest really try to fight. But we will see what happens. I really have enjoyed life so far, and the last 2-3 years have been the best in my life so far. Everybody in this business are different, and my key strength, the things that have always made me my best weapon, have always been my chest and shoulders and arms, especially my arms. And so far I never met a guy with stronger arms than myself. Age-wise, it's a good thing and a bad thing. Age-wise, I feel that it's easier and easier for me to develop strength. In the gym, I'm much stronger now than I ever have been in the past. There's also, I feel like I'm a more complete strongman now than I were then. The problem is, though, with age, you don't have the same hunger for winning. Saying that, though, again, it swings both ways. When I was young, you had the pressure on yourself. I always had to do well. I wanted, you know, to prove everybody how strong I were and to achieve my goals in life. And now I pretty much have done. I won the Super Series. I won the World's Strongest Man. I've done all these things I dreamed about when I was young. So now this is back to being for fun again. You know, this is my kind of way to enjoy myself.
So here we go with the tyre flip, and this looks easy, but don't be fooled. Those tyres weigh an awful lot. These aren't on the family car, are they?
500 kilos. These are as big a tyres as you'll ever see in international competition.
Well, Odd Haugen is finding them too big. Samuelsson is looking comfortable, but Odd is having all sorts of trouble down there. Well, this is a terrific effort from Samuelsson. Well, he says as he gets older, the fire doesn't burn quite so bright, but you could have fooled me. Magnus Samuelsson, very motivated. 35.21, and Odd has 3 flips, but I think that's going to be all.
Wow, Magnus Samuelsson, both biceps reattached. Got all kinds of problems with his lower spine, but look at him, still battling on.
Mark Felix and Jani Virtanen going head-to-head. And off we go. Well, they're both taking a nice deliberate start here, but it's Virtanen that's just about got his nose in front. Oh, Felix is struggling. Felix is in real trouble. Not even 1 flip so far for the man from Blackburn, the part-time plasterer. Virtanen's tearing it up, but Felix is stuck in neutral.
Well, look what Jani does. He gets it high enough and underneath it in that first movement that he can get it over in just 2 movements, while as Mark, watch Mark here, slow off the ground, and oh, he's battling in that midsection. Bad technique from Mark. I think perhaps his shoes are slipping a little bit as well.
There's certainly something going on there, isn't there? I don't think Samuelsson's time is going to be broken. It certainly isn't. That was 35 plus change. Virtanen looks like he's going to finish the course, but Mark Felix has 2 turns and is struggling to make it 3. Virtanen gets through, 49.06, but Felix is not going to finish this course. Mark Felix, make it Mark, 3 flips. I think that's all he's going to get. Well, he wants more, but he's looking at that tyre, and in the eyes, you can see it. He doesn't believe he can do this. That goes down as a moral victory to that big bit of rubber.
Well, Jani Virtanen was just outstanding here. He's such an athlete. Well, strongest man of 2000. Still got it.
A little bit of local interest in this next one. Espen Auni, second at Norway's strongest man, against Jarek Dimmick, who has to live in the shadow of Mariusz Pudzianowski, but is no mean competitor in his own right. Well, let's see what these two can come up with. This is all new stuff for Auni, isn't it? He's playing with the big boys now.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you're up against Europe's strongest man to your left. And he's not a big guy either, Auni. Certainly not in strongman terms. Under 6 foot, well under 20 stone in body weight.
Well, when you're running with the big dogs, you've got to have bark and bite, and I think that's a lesson that Auni will learn. Look how easy Dimmick is making this, just plodding down the course, but real purpose. That's the first time he's actually slowed a little bit.
Well, there was a lesson in strongman right there from Jarek Dimmick. 37.63 seconds. And the pole is in good form.
Yeah, but not quite good enough to edge Samuelsson out of first place. Samuelsson's 35.21 stands up. Now, Auni getting some encouragement from his conqueror. Dimmick going over there and saying, come on, sunshine, you can do this. Great experience. 4 flips, and he's had enough. But that'll get him past Haugen. It'll get him past Felix. So it could have been a lot worse.
And it's another experienced warhorse, Jarek Dimmick, who gets through the course.
So Samuelsson still leads with 35.21, but no question that these two men are both capable of beating that. On the left, Pudzianowski. The far side, big Terry Hollands from Dartford in Kent. Oh, Pudzianowski having a little bit of a wobble early on. So Terry Hollands has managed to take a small lead on him, and that'll spur Pudzianowski on. There's nothing he hates more than trailing, and he's making up that ground, and he's overhauled Terry, and they're both closing in on Samuelsson.
Oh, Big Tel really has to pull something out here. Oh, starting to slip behind now. He's got to go down and grab it as quick as possible after each flip.
Watch out, Samuelsson, you're in trouble. Oh, Pudzianowski, another little stumble. That might cost him dear. And Hollands is there as well, trying to overhaul him. Well, look at that. Terry Hollands, 36.33, and Pudzianowski letting it slip right at the death.
Can't believe he threw Hollands that lifeline. Look at this. Hollands so desperate to win.
Well, that really was an amazing finish.
You enjoyed that one, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Both of us struggled on the last flip, and I was just willing it to go over. Luckily, I just got it over just ahead of him, but I couldn't be happier at the minute.
Were you looking across at him? Was he looking at you?
Oh, I could see, all I could see, I was struggling, and I looked to my right, and he was struggling as well, and I'm like, please just go over, but luckily it did.
Samuelsson's duffed you both up, though.
Yeah, but it's nice just to get a win over Mariusz for once.
Well, Terry Hollands overjoyed to beat Mariusz, but it's the veteran Magnus Samuelsson who's still proving he can compete against the best. Overall, Terry is a point ahead of the Great One after 2 events and gaining in confidence.
Event 3 is the Viking press. You have to lift this incredibly large snowmobile up on this apparatus overhead for as many times as possible. 145 kilos in the handle. Obviously, it's a bit heavier now with my fat butt in it, but I'll get off and get this started.
Minus Collins' butt, Boris Halson managed 11 reps. Mark Felix, not an event he's particularly strong at, just the 8 reps. René Minkwitz, also 8 reps for him. Espen Auni went one better with 9. Odd Haugen could only manage 6. It was Carl Gillingham who set the trend, and the target for everyone else, 12 reps. Richard Skog, he just managed 10, and Jani Virtanen, world's strongest man of 2000, he managed 11.
So it's Poland versus Poland, and both Jarek Dimmick and Mariusz Pudzianowski will fancy going past Carl Gillingham's 12 here. It's just a question of who wins this individual battle of Poland. They are neck and neck at the moment. Oh, I think Dimmick's just sneaked in front slightly, but it's a case of who can keep their rhythm now. They won't be able to keep this pace going, surely. Well, Dimmick has now taken the lead, 13, and he's moved ahead of Pudzianowski, who has to take his first breather, but that 13th lift guarantees him second spot. But look at Dimmick, he's flying, he hasn't slowed at all. How soon before Jarek Dimmick needs to take a breather, though? Oh, they're right there.
What an athlete Jarek Dimmick is. 20 reps and puts it down. He looked good for more. You know, this is a 135-kilo man who can do a backflip. I mean, he's just a phenomenal athlete, Dimmick.
Two phenomenal athletes there, weren't they? Dimmick did 20 and could have done more, I'm sure, but when he saw that Pudzianowski had had enough, he said, well, why do any more? So up comes Magnus Samuelsson going up against Terry Hollands. Terry, with that big body of his, not necessarily well suited to this particular event.
Ready? Well, he's got incredible shoulder power, but whether he can last the pace, as it were, that's the big question. We saw in Mohegan Sun that Holland started cramping in this event, and then it plagued him throughout the others.
Dimmick's 20 is the target, Pudzianowski's 17 is second, and Gillingham's 12 is third. So those are the milestones that these fellas have got to look at. Samuelsson is looking quite good.
Well, if anything, you'd say Samuelsson was hampered by his biomechanics. Look at those long arms. Awful long way to go up for Samuelsson.
Yep, into third for Samuelsson, but Terry didn't even make double figures. Disappointing for him.
The two Poles taking the top two places. Samuelsson going well. Terry Hollands, though, came joint 8th, so has lost a lot of points. Overall, that was a bad event for Terry Hollands. He is now 5.5 points off the leaders.
Next event is the deadlift, but with a twist this time. It's a giant axle. Look how thick it is. It's as thick as a can of Coke, and you have to lift it upright. Now, Sven, explain this. It's last man standing.
Well, everybody lines up here, Colin. Everybody lifts the first weight. We increase the weight, and we're going to increase it to only have one man left, like last man standing.
There you go. Who will be the man standing at the end?
They are dropping like flies out there, Nick. It's just the big 3 left.
So here we are in the third cycle. 310 kilos for Terry Hollands to deal with here. Oh, no messing. So Terry moves on. Can Jarek Dimmick, much more compact athlete.
But his hands aren't as big as Hollands. Look how thick that bar is. Oh, and that was the problem. Slipped out.
Did you see Pudzianowski look at his compatriot as if to say, you know what? I think this is going to be tough. Hollands needs maximum points after the disaster with the lift. Pudzianowski.
Look at the forearms. He's got no problem with grip there, has he?
Absolutely not. And so here we go to 330.
There could be a bit of tactics here. Hollands has called for a 20-kilo increase.
Well, let's see if it backfires on him. And he's having a real look at this, isn't he, and saying, well, you know what? You know, you could have put a 100-kilo increase on that for all Terry did.
Well, I just wonder whether he's trying to push Marius into a lift that's too big for him.
If it is too big... Oh, no, he didn't quite get it, did he? Well, you know, Marius, he's a fighter.
Referee's called time, that's it. 45 seconds are up.
So that was just a bit of fun. Well, if that's your idea of fun, come and join Marius Pudzianowski on the axle lift. Ouch.
Disappointment in the Viking press to success in the deadlift.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Joint first. I think having big hands obviously helps on a thicker bar, but no, I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, I beat some good guys there, so I'm happy, yeah.
Now, Terry, was there tactics there? I saw you calling for it to go really high, because I think you thought Marius was almost unbeatable there, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, if he'd have been in front of me, I'd have gone for it. I think I'd have got the 320. But the way he pulled the 310, he did it so easily, I thought, there's no way I'm going to beat him here. But I was trying to get him to go as heavy as possible to make him lift a heavy weight, obviously knowing that I wasn't going to do it anyway. Yeah, I'm a bit annoyed with myself because I didn't attempt the lift really, but I was trying to play tactics and it sort of paid off in a funny kind of way.
Terry employing good tactics there, getting joint first with Marius. Most people struggled with the new event. Overall, Hollands has caught up with Dimmick, but Marius has stretched his lead. It's looking ominous. Join us after the break with more from Norway. Welcome back to Norway for the final World's Strongest Man Super Series qualifier. For the fourth event, it's over to Colin.
Next event is the Viking sword hold. You have to lift this 20-kilo sword up and hold it out at arm's length like this for as long as possible. I make it look pretty easy, don't I?
Well, without a tyre to rest it on, Richard Skog only managed 19.52 seconds. Espen One, just a little bit more, 20.59 seconds.
Well, when you hear of people getting put to the sword, now you know what it means. This is an endurance test. It's mind over matter, because as soon as you take this grip, your mind screams to your body, drop them, don't hold these, you can't do it. And you've got to overcome the mental part of this as much as the physical.
Blow better, blow better.
All right, let's see if gravity wins, or rather when gravity wins.
Well, up at 20 kilos in each hand, it's kind of like holding on to a 5-year-old in each hand at arm's length. Not an easy task.
Well, these fellas are doing all right so far, but you watch. They'll be shaking, rattling and rolling any moment now. Well, they've gone past the two Norwegians. How far can they push it?
Straight.
Oh, there's some wobbling going on with Carl Gillingham. Oh, yeah, the tank hit empty, and of course as soon as Virtanen catches that out the corner of his eye, he starts to struggle as well. But those were good extra seconds for Yanni.
I don't think that's any surprise for Yanni, who has proven it time and time again in contests that he's very good at this event, despite having long arms.
Yes, the long arms are no advantage in this one at all, but Virtanen takes the lead. Now Jarek Dimmick, short and squat, he could be good at this. Magnus Samuelsson is revitalized in this competition, it would appear. Those surgically reconstructed biceps, how will they hold up here?
Very high arms from Samuelsson there. I wonder if the ref will make him lower his arms a little bit.
Lower.
Yes, and the referee having a look at Jarek Dimmick, but not at Samuelsson.
Well, Dimmick's having a look over. He's saying, why are you having a go at me and not him?
Well, so some questions being asked of the officiating here, because Dimmick certainly was punished. Samuelsson definitely wasn't. Dimmick's starting to feel it now, and he's gone a little bit earlier than Carl Gillingham. How far can Samuelsson go? Can he beat the 39.88? He does, and he's happy, but he wasn't holding those arms at 45 degrees, or even 90 degrees.
Well, it probably was more like 45 degrees.
Terry Hollands and Pudzianowski head-to-head against each other and against the clock. And Magnus Samuelsson's 43.45. Now everybody's waving at everybody else here. Let's get those arms absolutely right. You've got to keep the arms out. You've got to keep your back straight.
Hey, Nick, I think Terry would rather be on the left as we look at it, wouldn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Two referees here, and Pudzianowski's already gone for a touch of the bent arms there.
You're not kidding, and the lean back, and Hollands is having a look. Now, that can be a mistake to be looking at the other guy, and the referee's having a go at Terry, but again, Magnus, it's almost like our referee can see what, you know, he's bipolar here. He's got one side in his sights, and he's ignoring the other guy. There's no way that Pudzianowski has got that at 90 degrees. And that's a filthy look from Hollands. Did you see?
Oh, yeah. He's not happy.
Wow. Well, Pudzianowski's arms are all over the place. He settles for 31. That's not good enough for first place, but there's some controversy here.
Tell you're not happy, are you?
No, not really. I thought there was a little bit of inconsistency between the two judges. I was watching Marius leaning right back after seeing Magnus go beforehand, where it was, I mean, to me it looked like he was holding the swords above his head when he's supposed to be at a straight angle. But, yeah, I mean, I made sure I kept trying to talk to him and get him to check it, because it's not that there's a problem with the referee, it's the inconsistency that maybe is the problem. They're not judging the same thing.
All right, how about I put this to you? Why didn't you just do the same tactics then?
Just because I noticed that the left-hand judge seemed to be a lot stricter than the one on the right. He was very, very good at talking to me all the way through, kept telling me where to keep my hands. As soon as it started to go, that was it, I went.
Well, Terry not happy there with some of the adjudication. It's not like Terry to complain, is it? 6th place overall. Samuelson now catching Terry, only 1 point back, and Dymek takes the lead by half a point.
To the penultimate event then, and it's the Farmer's Walk, a real classic. 150 kilos in each hand, and you have to carry them for 20 meters up, 20 meters back. Farmer's Walk. Who better to ask than a winning farmer? Magnus, you're on a roll. How hard is this?
This is a really, really hard event. It's, first of all, 150 kilos in each hand, but the implements are very thick, so they take all the power out of your legs, and this, even with some really great people here, a lot of us will struggle.
I'll tip Magnus to win this one. I know just how good he is.
The kiss of death from Colin Bryce, but the crowd are enjoying this one, and they've got a real big battle coming up. Big Terry Hollands against Marius. Now remember, Terry Hollands in the first contest of the year had real problems with his conditioning at Mohegan Sun. He couldn't finish the final event in the Farmer's Walk. So this is going to be a very interesting situation for him. As for Pudzianowski, we always know what he's about, but Terry, I'm sure, is still haunted by this memory.
Yeah, Mohegan Sun, after the last event, it was more of a wake-up call for me than anything. I'd gained a lot of weight just before the competition. I actually looked at the events and thought, perhaps don't need to have as good a cardio as you do some competitions, not so much running around. So I did gain a bit of weight in order to get that extra bit of strength, and maybe, you know, that cost me my top 4 place there. I've learned from it. I've dropped a bit of weight again now, so I'm feeling a lot better, a lot fitter, which I think is where I need to be. Yeah, the moment on the floor when I was gasping for air, it was just a wake-up call, really. I was definitely carrying too much weight. My training perhaps wasn't quite right. I'm feeling a lot fitter. I'm a bit lighter than I was then as well. And, I'm here to finish top 4. I need to improve on where I finished 5th place at Mohegan Sun. Yeah, obviously, receiving my trophy off Jeff Capes at the Britons was fantastic. I've always looked up to him as a strongman. He's been great for British strongman. And hopefully one day, you know, I can follow in his footsteps and go on and win World's Strongest Man myself.
Ready!
Well, let's see how Terry Hollands does this time. We know what Pudzianowski's going to do. Terry's in all sorts of trouble already. Pudzianowski, you know, is going to fly, but Terry... Oh, now what's he done? He's done his ankle by the look of it, or a knee. He's got a problem with his right leg. So, while Pudzianowski just continues to do what he does, all eyes are on Terry Hollands right now because Terry is hurt.
Oh, that's such a shame for Terry. He's being helped off there by Felix and Yanni Bertinen. But Pudzianowski, 24.81. Good event for him.
Certainly was, but the story here is not about Pudzianowski, it's about Terry Hollands. And he broke down almost immediately, and that doesn't look good.
Terry, what's up, mate?
Just chronic cramp. Literally, my foot just locked up, sort of pointing downwards, and I just couldn't do anything with it. It literally would not move.
Right, well, at least you got such pretty nurses to help you.
Yeah.
The thought of Mark Felix in a nurse's uniform. Oof. Anyway, moving on. Jarek Dymek and Carl Gillingham. Let's see what these two can come up with, and hopefully they're not going to need any medical attention. Oh, Dymek has got off to a quick start. Looked like he was going to struggle there a little bit, but Gillingham's the man with the balance, but Dymmek's the man with the speed.
Now, Dymmek's trying to hold on to the lead in the overall contest. He's got to attack this time of Pudzianowski. 24 seconds. He looks a little slow, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he was fighting this weight all along, and it's caught up with him, and that's allowed Big Carl to move past him, and Dymek is actually going backwards, if that's at all possible. It really is slowing down.
Pudzianowski's time has come and gone. Gillingham's done well here, but the story is, can Dymek finish off and gain vital points? He would love to beat Pudzianowski overall, wouldn't he?
He's hurting. He's really hurting.
Well, you just can't will yourself over the line with 300 kilos, can you?
No, but I think he's going to do it. And well, he's trying to
for the line.
A bit of a drag there. This one was a bit of a drag for Jarek Dymek. 53 seconds. It'll beat Terry Hollands, of course, but everyone's going to beat Terry in this one. After cramping straight up. Now, here's Colin's tip to win this event.
Sorry, Magnus.
Yeah, he's got no chance, has he? It's a question of how many he's going to lose by. Yanni Virtanen, this one should be a close one. These two are both pretty evenly matched. And they're both looking unsteady. Just as I say that, Virtanen has his first stumble, so that allows Samuelsson to... well, he's doing well. If he can get the turn here, he's got a chance at this.
You've got to try and do it in one movement if you can, and
As he has, and he's flying. Virtanen's trying to track him down. He hasn't had a pit stop yet either, Samuelsson. He may not have a pit stop. Yes, he did. Oh, what a shame. Virtanen needs another one. Does he just about stagger his way in there? Yes, he does. Oh, flying finish there. So, Virtanen, 30.06, just edges out Samuelsson. Not a bad time from these two fellas. Pudzianowski, though, the gold standard yet again.
You've almost won, then.
I don't know, maybe first, maybe second, I don't know.
Atlas Stones, good event for you?
You know how is my Atlas Stone. A lot of times, see.
Yeah, I know. I mean, sometimes you're the best, sometimes there's other good lifters here, yeah?
Sometimes it's problem because this is not my problem, only problem organizer. Sometimes equipment is bad, sometimes broken equipment, not I. Last competition, I have good memory.
What, double points? You're not complaining still?
Yes, double points. Life is life.
Well, Marius blowing away the field again. Athletes between him and Dimmek, that plays into his hands. Unfortunate for Terry Hollands, though. He cramped up, maybe a question mark over his conditioning. Now, remember, at Venice Beach in the last event, it was double points. Dave Osland sneaking past Marius. Could it happen again? Well, anything can happen, and the crowd are loving it.
So, we're on to the final event, and it's a classic. It's the Atlas Stones. 120 kilos up to 180 have to be loaded onto these platforms. Now, there's plots and subplots. Terry Hollands in fourth, injured. Could be overtaken by Yanni Virtanen. He has to come out and do at least one stone to try and book a place at the World's Strongest Man competition. Third place, Samuelsson, still not entirely safe. First and second, though, Jarek Dimmek against Pudzianowski. What a battle in store.
Carl Gillingham only managed 4 of the stones in 70.24 seconds. Yanni Virtanen, he managed just the 4, but in 35.74 seconds.
Here's the big man from Dartford.
Ready?
Usually a good event for him. Looking to consolidate that 4th place. You know how proud these guys are. They never like to slip a place, do they?
Well, he's suffered that bad cramp in the last event. Kind of hobbling a little bit, isn't he?
He certainly is.
All the way.
Not really a surprise. And again, it throws a question mark up there about Terry's conditioning. It's a question he's raised himself, and it's a question that he will have to address before the World's Strongest Man.
I don't think there's any doubt in the world that Terry is right up there with the world's best. Static events, power events, just fitness he lacks.
Well, I think he's just moved past Yanni Virtanen's time there. That will be close. I'll have to get an official adjudication. But, of course, he can make all adjudications irrelevant if he can plonk a 5th stone on here. That's easier said than done. He might have the shortest way to go, but it's the heaviest stone by a long way, and Terry says, no, I'm not doing that one. But 34.41 just edges out Virtanen, and he's still limping.
Good performance, though, from Hollands to do 4 stones with that cramp problem. Very impressive.
What about the man that's been reeling in the years here in Norway? Magnus Samuelsson, 9 years ago, the world's strongest man. And he says he gets older, he's lost a bit of his fire. Well, you could have fooled us. This man hasn't lost any fire at all. He's making up for lost time here by the look of him. Very, very quick start.
Well, he's the man they used to call the King of the Stones, isn't he? And it's something he prides himself on a great deal. I'm sure he'll attack that 5th stone. He'd like to get it on, be the first one to do it.
Well, he's absolutely blasted through the first 3. 34.41 is the time to beat, and he's done that comfortably. Now the only question is stone number 5, which has yet to yield itself to these big fellas.
Huge circumference, this stone. Very hard to grip.
Come on!
Oh, it really is, isn't it? Nobody's come close yet. And Magnus isn't going to come close either.
You have 30 seconds left.
They're telling him he's got lots of time.
Yeah,
And Magnus is saying,
seconds.
you can give me 30 years, I'm not lifting that thing up.
He's looking for a shower and a beer, isn't he?
And who can blame him? There comes a time when it doesn't matter how big and strong you are, sometimes the stones are just too big, and that's what's happening with this 5th stone here. But that's a good effort from Magnus. That'll guarantee him a top 3 finish here. Dimmick, of course, is a top 2 finisher, but fizzling out a little bit. He had a chance at winning this one, had a bit of a breakdown on the last event, so he'll want to finish on a high.
Well, he's another man like Samuelsson who's had both biceps reattached to the bone. Oh, he's got a little bit of a stomach problem there.
Oh, now what's that all about? Another injury.
Perhaps a little bit of cramp, Nick. It's been a long day, bright lights. These guys have sweated a great deal.
Well, that is the solar plexus area, and he's trying to just stretch that out. That's a shame. 2 stones, so Dimmick just fizzling out a little bit. So Jarek bows out, 2 stones, that's all.
Well, Marius has been given an opportunity. He just has to load 3 stones to become the Super Series champion. Can he do it? Find out after the break. Welcome back to the World's Strongest Man Super Series in Norway. It's over to Nick and Colin to see if Marius Pudzianowski can win here and become the 2007 Super Series champion.
Oh, Martin, you're trying to tease us here, aren't you? Making it as if there was some kind of doubt about it. Well, here's the deal. He needs 3 stones, that's it. And if Marius Pudzianowski doesn't make 3 stones, there'll be a steward's inquiry. Well, there's one. Any doubt about it in your mind at all, Colin?
Well, you never know.
Oh, please, please. Oh, hang on, he is making a meal of this 2nd stone. Well, maybe I've spoken too soon. Or is he just playing to the crowd a little bit here, making it a little bit of a drama? You know,
they are very high platforms, so you have to say that, and the circumference gets bigger and bigger. It's not a foregone conclusion.
Now, listen, if it was you that needed 3 stones, I know we'd have a bit of a drama. But Marius has done it. And knowing Marius, he might just say, you know what, I've done enough. No, well, maybe he's going to go for this 4th stone. The 5th stone will be the interesting one. Yeah, he's having a bit of fun with his 4th stone. But nobody's yet got that 5th stone on. And with Marius knowing he's got the win sealed, will he do it? Will he bother? Well, he's having a look, vaguely. I think if there was something on the line for him, he might have to have a go at this one. But he's seen everyone else try and fail. And he's going to have a look at it. What's he got? No, that's too good, that stone. He doesn't care. Marius Pudzianowski takes it. But the story of this Super Series event from Norway, the return to form of Magnus Samuelsson.
Magnus, 3rd place. Happy with that?
Oh, I'm really, really happy. This is the first 3rd place I've been happy with in a long time. I more or less came here expecting to get my ass kicked really bad. I was kind of nervous for that. I haven't done this in a while, and the other guys have improved and so on. So I came here with no hope whatsoever, and I ended up with 3rd place, actually chasing the other guys in the end. Slow start in the first event. Apart from that, really happy.
So, confirmation of the stones. Magnus Samuelsson taking 1st place ahead of Terry Hollands. Marius Pudzianowski settling for 4th. But it means overall, Pudzianowski takes it yet again. Dimmick, his compatriot, just holding off Samuelsson, who was finishing fast, as he said, with Terry Hollands securing 4th place. And it means that the coveted helmet goes onto the head of you-know-who. Marius Pudzianowski takes top honours in Norway. Next stop, Anaheim, California, and the world's strongest man.
Well, Marius dominates yet again in Norway, and he looks unstoppable. Great news for the 2 veterans, Dimmick and Samuelsson. It'd be great to see them competing again at the finals. Now, the last time Britain had a winner at the World's Strongest Men finals, it was Gary Taylor back in 1993. Can big Terry Hollands emulate him? Well, I'm sure the Dominator will have something to say about that. To find out, though, join us next time in California for the World's Strongest Man finals. Till then, it's goodbye.
It's drama next on 5 as we get cracking on a Friday crime with NCIS. And that's followed at 10 o'clock by Law and Order Criminal Intent.
Sponsored by Fisherman's Friend.